Hi everyone!
Let's conduct experiments on
Reflexes and reaction time!
Wow!
Boom! See guys, that's a reflex. So what is a reflex? A reflex is an involuntary but predictable response to stimuli. A stimuli is anything that can trigger a response, whether that be feelings or actions. Our nervous pathway is called the reflex arc, and it is controlled by our central nervous system, which consists of our brain and our spinal cord. Our affected neuron will take in information and send it to our interneuron in the form of electric signal. And then our interneuron will take in this information and determine the response and send it to our effector neuron. Our effector neuron will then
send it to our effector so that it can produce a response.
Finally, the reaction time is the time interval between the applied stimulus to when the response commences.
Now we're going to take a look at the patellar reflex, which is the knee joint. This is a small tendon hammer, and I am going to hit the large tendon below the midline of the kneecap using this. Now the subject is going to read a book aloud. Factors that can affect the average human RT include age, sex, level. Lastly, the subject will try to not give response. From the experiment, you can see that the reflex will still happen even if the person is distracted and when they are trying to prevent their leg from moving. This is because patellar reflex does not involve the brain, but it only involves the spinal cord. So when a person tries to prevent their leg from moving, the reflex is too quick for the brain to think. In fact, when a person is distracted, the control that brain has over the reflex decreases, so the patellar reflex will become more obvious.
Now, let's perform the Achilles reflex. This is a tendon hammer, and now I'm going to ask the subject to kneel on the chair and leave your feet hanging at the edge of the chair. Now, I'm going to tap his Achilles tendon for approximately 2 taps per second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similar like the patellar reflex, the Achilles reflex also only involves the spinal cord, thus creating involuntary action. The significance of the Achilles reflex is it plays a major role in balancing, walking, and also standing by keeping our ankle muscle active and responsive.
For the next experiment, I will conduct the experiment 5.3, which is the swallowing reflex. For the material needs is the water, and the procedure, I need to swallow my saliva in mouth cavity for 2 times and repeat again after drinking the water. So let's start. That's all. Based on this experiment, we realized that when we are swallowing for the first time, it's easier compared to the second time. This happened because when we want to swallow for the second time, our muscle need a brief recovery before we proceed to the second swallow. So this is important to make sure our esophagus can fully swallow the first material.
Next, we're going to see the reaction time to sight. Me as experimenter and my subject will both have our own stopwatch. Then we're going to start our stopwatch simultaneously, and when I stop my stopwatch, as soon as the subject sees this, she should stop her stopwatch too. So that starts. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. From the experiments, it was observed that the subject's reaction time takes longer than the experimenter's action time. The difference indicates in delay of the subject's reaction after seeing the experimenter's action. The key finding of the experiment is that the subject's reaction time was consistently longer than the experimenter's time, highlighting that the delay in human reaction due to the processing and the motor response.
Now, let's see some variation to the touch. First, we need to the subject to close his eyes. And then, we push the button simultaneously. As I shoot into the feet, the subject always also must to push the button to stop. This will continue 10 times. Okay, from this experiment, we noticed that the time for subject is slightly different for the experimenter. This is because the subject needs time to respond to stimulus that I have applied from foot go to the brain, and the brain go to the hand. Speed of impulse transmission is calculated by dividing length of a nerve pathway with the average reaction time. Some error might occur in this experiment, such as inaccurate measurement of the length of the nerve pathway.